Tonight on WNWO News at 11.
A homeowner got a big surprise when an unwanted visitor literally crashed in. Violence wreaks havoc on a North Toledo neighborhood when shots are fired, injuring numerous people. Primary day is quickly approaching and the candidates for Toledo mayor are getting their message out.
Good evening, everyone. You're watching WNWO News at 11 o'clock. I'm Brian Madrick. Before we get to all of the stories happening today, let's first get a look at our weather. Right now on this Saturday, meteorologist Brittany Patterson over in the Weather Center now with our first look. Hey, Brittany.
Hey, Bryant. Some of us dodging raindrops earlier this evening. Now, most of us are dry, but I'm not going to rule out a chance of rain through the next few hours. Let's take you back in time over the last few hours. A look at Christ the King School as we went through the daytime today. Some filtered sunshine to start the day. Thicker clouds through the afternoon, and again, some of those did let up. A few raindrops here and there. Those clouds still out there, though. Didn't do much, though, to keep temperatures down today. Most of us topping out in the mid-80s for daytime highs. Overnight lows last night were cool. We were down into the 50s for wake-up temps early this morning. We're not going to be nearly as cool as we go through the overnight hours, and we're talking about a pretty big warm-up in the extended forecast. I'll have all the details in just a few moments. Bryant?
Toledo police are investigating a shooting that sent 2 people to the hospital. The shooting happened on West Park Street near Stricker after 3 this afternoon. We've learned those 2 people were actually shooting at each other. A neighbor who lives near the scene of the shooting tells WNWO they heard at least 12 shots fired. When our crew arrived on the scene, police had to break up an altercation between several bystanders. It's unclear if that incident was related to the shooting. Police continue to investigate. Carroll Township residents can now drink their tap water after days of being warned of concerning toxin levels. The Carroll Water and Sewer District issued a do not drink the water advisory Thursday evening, warning residents that harmful toxins were found in the treated water supply used by Carroll Township. Early Saturday afternoon, residents were given an all clear to resume normal consumption of water inside their homes. Area residents are encouraged to seek medical attention if they or a pet show signs of illness if they have ingested water during the warning period. There's still no word on whether human remains believed to belong to toddler Elena Steinfurth have been identified. Toledo police discovered the human remains inside a garage in the East Toledo neighborhood where 18-month-old Elena Steinfurth disappeared June 2nd. The Lucas County coroner, with help from the Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation, is testing the remains to make a positive identification. Sunday, tomorrow, family and friends will hold a rally calling on justice for Elena outside the Lucas County Courthouse starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. A scary moment for at least one resident inside an apartment complex last night when a car slams into her home. The accident happened last night just before 11 on the 1100 block of Dorr Street near Forest in central Toledo. According to Toledo police, the driver of the vehicle fled the scene after ramming into the apartment. Witnesses say the driver lost control of the vehicle and jumped a curb before the crash. One resident inside the complex suffered minor injuries. City inspectors are checking the apartment for structural damage. Ohio State Highway Patrol is investigating a 2-vehicle crash that happened yesterday evening. Troopers say the crash occurred at the intersection of State Route 19 and Salem-Carroll Road. According to investigators, 51-year-old Norman Lanier of Port Clinton was driving on Salem-Carroll Road when, after stopping at a stop sign, he proceeded to turn onto State Route 19 and crash into a car driven by 24-year-old Robert Wilburn of Oak Harbor. Lanier wasn't injured, but Wilburn suffered incapacitating injuries and was taken to St. Vincent's Hospital. In Decision 2013, it's the final weekend before Tuesday's primary for Toledo mayor, and the candidates were doing some last-minute campaigning. Lucas County Auditor Anita Lopez attended Get Out the Vote activities at the Teamsters Local 20 Hall in Toledo. The Democratic candidate for Toledo mayor used the moment to express her views to voters. And Lopez wasn't the only one on the campaign trail. At a press conference today in front of the safety building, Democratic Toledo mayoral candidate Joe McNamara debuted a plan to help reduce gang violence in the city. The Toledo Community Initiative to Reduce Violence, also known as T-Serve, was reintroduced by the Bell administration after the program folded in 2009. McNamara says funding for T-Serve is needed and will be a priority under his administration. Ohio plans to set limits on who receives food stamps beginning next year. Governor John Kasich's plan will affect more than 130,000 people across the state. Under the new limits, able-bodied adults without children will be required to spend at least 20 hours a week working, training for a job, volunteering, or some type of similar activity. The requirement actually goes into effect next month, but people who fail to comply to the new standards will lose their benefits starting January 1st. Several Ohio prep school students are recovering today after a section of bleachers collapsed. The students were cheering on the St. Charles Preparatory School's football team last night when a railing, as you can see, gave way. Dozens of students spilled to the ground. 4 of the injured students were taken to area hospitals for treatment, but none of the injuries appear to be serious. The same thing happened just last week in Sycamore Township, Ohio. Veterans looking for work had their chance today. Wren Hill in Perrysburg opened its doors to help veterans land a new job at today's event. Those who showed up received help writing a resume, interview skills, and setting a career path. Shred it and forget it. That was the theme today at the Anderson Shred It Day in Maumee. Over 100 people showed up to dispose of old electronics and shreddable documents at the free event. Nearly 50 volunteers from the Anthony Wayne crew team helped unload cars full of everything from old phones and computers to VCRs.
This is really important because you just can't put it in a landfill or a dumpster, and it's just a really great opportunity for people to get rid of all their old junk and make sure it's done in a safe way and a secure way.
Organizers say everything collected at today's event will be properly destroyed.
WNWO voted Outstanding Weather Operation in Ohio. Here's your WNWO forecast.
Well, exactly 2 weeks from tomorrow, we'll be entering the fall season. But if you haven't quite soaked up all the summer that you want to, don't worry. As we get into next work week, I think we'll have the opportunity as we get a big warm up. We'll talk about that in just a moment, but first let's talk about the day that was. We saw some filtered sunshine to start our day. As we got into the afternoon hours, clouds did start to thicken. A few of them did let up, a few raindrops here and there, but overall not a washout of a day and not a washout of an evening either. A live look at the Maritime Academy of Toledo. Skies are dry but very overcast at this time, but the good news with that, we're not going to drop off temperature-wise like we have the last few nights. Currently at 74 degrees at the Maritime Academy of Toledo. Last night fell to 58. We'll be nowhere near that tonight anywhere around the area. In fact, other areas all still in the 70s too. 71 Tiffin and in Norwalk. It's 73 now in Sandusky. Few places north of the Michigan-Ohio border, well, they're in the 60s. 68's now in Monroe and in Adrian. Currently 73 degrees in Holland. We'll take you over to triple Doppler radar. We've been monitoring some slight activity around the area, just a few pop-up sprinkles, not enough to be measurable rainfall, just enough to kind of wet the windshield and dampen the sidewalks, but not a rainy evening by any stretch, although we could still see a couple more raindrops before the night is over. All of these coming along a cold front. You can see that pushing down from the north. That's what brought us all that cloud cover today, and a few of those sprinkles. And as we go through the next 12 hours or so, we're still going to see that cloud cover, and a few of us may still see some raindrops. Here's what TrueView forecast has to say. Just some isolated shower activity as we go through the overnight hours. By the time we get into tomorrow morning, perhaps a stray shower, but I really think most of us stay dry. We will have a lot of cloud cover out there tomorrow morning, but as that system slides down to our south and east, we'll actually clear out as we get into the afternoon hours and could see some late day sunshine for your Sunday evening. The big changes, though, going to come as we get into the work week. In fact, by Monday, we'll start to see a warm front lift up from the south. That's going to bring us some slight chances of rain as we get into Monday afternoon, but the bigger story is going to be the big warm up that comes with it. We're going to see a much warmer, more humid air mass arrive for Monday, and by Tuesday, we could be talking some record-breaking high temperatures. As for tonight, though, a mild night. We'll call it 64 degrees. Spotty showers possible. Otherwise, most of us just see mostly cloudy skies. Tomorrow, a mild and breezy day. It'll be the last one, though, that we see for a few days as we start to warm up during the work week. You can see by Monday, we're back into the 80s. Tuesday, the hottest day going with 92 for a daytime high. The record for Tuesday, 95 degrees. I don't think we'll quite get there. Brief warm-up, though, as we get into your Wednesday. Cold front slides through. That's going to bring us back to right where we should be this time of year, the low 80s, upper 70s. So it'll be a quick stretch of summer. Bryant.
All right, thanks a lot, Brittany. Coming up, the Ku Klux Klan holds a rally in Maryland. Coming up, we'll tell you why the controversial group decided to protest in that state and our look across America. Welcome back, everyone. 2 men are under arrest in connection with the death of a New York City toddler shot in his stroller last weekend. That story tops our look across America tonight. 23-year-old Daquan Breland and 19-year-old Daquan Wright waived extradition at a hearing in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania Friday. They were taken into custody early Friday morning at an apartment complex in Wilkes-Barre. Authorities wanted to question the New York City men in Sunday's death of 1-year-old Antique Hennis. The boy's father was pushing him in a stroller while crossing a street Sunday evening when multiple shots were fired in Brooklyn. A small group of Ku Klux Klan members gathered at a Civil War battlefield in Maryland Saturday afternoon. Police outnumbered demonstrators as 8 robed Klan members held a rally at Antietam National Battlefield. They spoke out against the policies of President Obama and his stance on immigration reform. A mesh fence was erected to prevent altercations, but no counter-demonstration took place. Anti-war protesters gathered outside the White House this afternoon chanting slogans against U.S. military action in Syria. Some carried signs saying the case against Syria is built on a lie. Other signs urged Congress to vote against war. This comes as President Barack Obama is seeking congressional approval for a military strike against Syria because the U.S. says Syria attacked its own people with chemical weapons. A preview of sports is coming up, but when WNWO News at 11 o'clock returns, we'll check out new films in theaters in the box office preview. Vin Diesel is a Hollywood tough guy who has no trouble finding work. That's in large part because the actor has been involved in successful franchise features with multiple sequels. He's appeared in 5 of the Fast and Furious films, and this weekend stars in the 3rd Riddick movie, simply called Riddick. Here's Raphael Seth with a look at that and other films coming to a theater near you.
When the chains come off, you go.
Vin Diesel is off the chain in Riddick. He's back as the most dangerous fugitive in the galaxy in this sci-fi sequel, but he's caught between a rock and deep space. Left for dead on an unknown planet, the escaped convict encounters deadly alien predators. To save himself, Diesel activates an emergency beacon, which brings scores of bloodthirsty bounty hunters to his doorstep. Riddick is rated R.
I will not allow the selfless efforts of my husband to be abandoned.
Jennifer Hudson rallies a nation in Winnie Mandela. She plays the title character in this biopic about the struggles of South Africans to end apartheid. The woman, now known as the mother of the nation, endured her own persecution and imprisonment after husband Nelson Mandela was sentenced to life behind bars. Winnie Mandela is rated R.
I memorized the first 3 chapters of Pride and Prejudice when I was 13.
A bookworm looks for a storybook ending in Austenland. Carrie Russell is a modern-day gal with a singular obsession, the novels of Jane Austen. Defying all of her sense and sensibility, she spends her life savings on a trip to a resort that caters to all things Austen. She aspires to meet her perfect Regency gentleman while on holiday, but finds she may have to swallow her pride and prejudice to make it happen. Austenland is rated PG-13. That's the box office preview. Raphael Seth, NBC News.
All right, always something interesting in theaters.
Yes, I never know until I watch the preview what's coming out. So it's pretty good.
There you go. Thank you, Raphael Seth. All right, Tori Carmen in the house. Football on this Saturday.
Football. We're going to show you some college football, but first I do have a high school score. Scott got a win 34-0 over Lima Perry. And we're going to go over to Bowser High School. That's where Woodward and Toledo Christian went at it tonight. We'll have those highlights after the break. Well, week 2 of college football, you rarely see teams from the same conference going at it. MAC East foes Bowling Green and Kent State are the exception today. Both teams are 1-0 after their season openers, and you can say this game, even if it's early in the season, will really set the tone in the MAC. Well, here we go. BGU at Kent State. The Golden Flashes have won 11 in a row. That would change today. Kent State but up 15-10 in the second. Matt Johnson finds Sean Joplin for 35 yards, sets up first and goal inside the 10. And they find the end zone. Johnson with the handoff to Andre Givens, powers his way in for the score. They take over 17-15. Under a minute to play before half. Kent State up 22-17. Falcons on first and goal. Johnson rolling, finds Jared Cohen, hits the pylon. Now that one would go under review, and it is just ruled a touchdown. DG up 24-22 at the half. They never looked back. Nat Johnson's first start under center. Impressive, 19-25 for 357 yards and 2 TDs. 41-22 the final. Over to Columbia, Missouri, a familiar face on the sideline. Former Toledo head coach Gary Pinkel, the winningest coach in Toledo history. Tigers lead 3-0 in the first quarter. David Llewellyn goes up the middle inside the 15, 25-yard gain. First and 10 in the red zone. Leads to this field goal by Jeremiah Detmore. Tied at 3-all. He had 3 field goals tonight. Well, Rockets, coming alive. Finally in the third, they find the end zone there. Terrence Owens catch it. The quarterback keeper cut it 24-16. Mizzou up. Later in the third, Owens hits receiver Alonzo Russell. Just gets in for the score. They cut it to 24-23. But Missouri, they get the win 38-23. Toledo drops to 0-2. Up to Ann Arbor, where number 14 Notre Dame and number 17 Michigan meet up for a game that's been played since 1887. ND won last year's game in South Bend. Home field advantage playing a big role tonight. First quarter, Devin Gardner, the play action. Jeremy Gallen, his targets. And he breaks a tackle. That's like 4 guys right there he gets by. He finds the end zone for the touchdown. 61 yards, Michigan up 10-zip. But the Fighting Irish answer, Tommy Reese, fires to the end zone, tips, but finds the hands of TJ Jones, and he cuts it to 3-10-7. Now the second quarter, following a Tommy Reese pick, Wolverines get in the end zone again. Gardner to Gallen, hooking up. 12-yard score, 27-13 Michigan. Currently in the fourth quarter, just a few minutes to play. Michigan leads barely 34-30. Now down to Columbus, the Buckeyes hosting SDSU Aztecs out of the Mountain West. Some not so good news for the Buckeyes. Quarterback Braxton Miller goes down on the first drive. His left knee takes an awkward hit. He's carted off. He would not return. It's ruled an MCL injury, so a big blow for the Buckeyes. He's scoring, not a problem. Today enter quarterback Kenny Guyton. Hit as he throws this one. Billy Brown comes up with the 27-yard touchdown. Buckeyes get the win, 42-7. The Woodward High School Polar Bears got their first win of the season last week, snapping a 53-game losing streak. Well, they now look to start a new type of streak, looking for their second win on the season. We'll go to Bowser High School. Can the Polar Bears get it done over Toledo Christian? Eagles lead 14-0 in the second quarter. The Polar Bears, Darius Fleming hands off to Mordecai Brownlee. He can move left to right, 47 yards before he's finally brought down. The Polar Bears do get in the end zone and make it 14-6, but that was really all they can do tonight. Toledo Christian gets the win, 14-6. That's it for your sports. Stay with us. We'll be right back with weather.
All right, we had a little bit of rain showers earlier today. Now, for all those folks that are going to be going out to the clubs tonight or wherever you're going to be going, just be safe. But who knows? I plead the fifth on that one.
Bryant likes to dance.
I don't know what she's talking about. Well, I need an umbrella, though, if I do decide to do a little dance outside.
All right, no rain dances tonight. There may be a spotty shower or two, otherwise mostly cloudy, 64. Perhaps one of those showers lasting into tomorrow morning. Some of that cloud cover to start the day. By afternoon, will become partly cloudy, 77, mild and breezy. A big warm-up, though, coming early next week, 80s and even 90s in your forecast. It'll be short-lived, but another little taste of summer headed our way.
Enjoy it while we can.
Summer is not done with us, but we are done. Thanks so much for making us your choice. SNL is next. We're back here tomorrow. Have a good night. Be safe.